Hello friends and welcome to another video lesson from PBOS Talks. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified of new uploads. This video is in the playlist called Math Using SQL, and here we'll be learning how to handle a null value in math operations. So in SQL, we know that null refers to the absence of a value. Now again, if it's your first time in this channel, and indeed even a first time in this playlist, please, I do suggest for you to watch the very first video in this playlist called Math Using SQL, so you can get the flow right, you can get the basics right, especially in how mathematics is being used or being used in SQL. What are the syntaxes, what are the rules around it, okay? So we learned about the number function called NVL in this video, and it's something that assigns a value you specified when a null is encountered for a particular column, value, parameter, etc. So let me paste here the syntax of the value will be, the function will be using. So it's called NVL, and the syntax is NVL in the parentheses, and then it has two parameters. The first parameter is the column variable, column name, variable name, parameter name, or even a hard-coded value, but it doesn't make sense. So normally what you would have here in the first parameter is either the column value of the table, column name, variable name, parameter name, things of that sort. Okay, and then it's separated by a comma because there's a second parameter. The second parameter is the value to use in case the first one is null. So it's like you're telling NVL, you're telling Oracle, if this is null, if this has no value, then use this. Okay, again, you're telling Oracle, if this first parameter is null, no value, then use this. That's how it works. That's syntax. Okay, so let's look at the SQL behavior when when a value is not null. Okay, no, sorry, not that one. So let's look at basic mathematical operation. Addition here involving, using the SQL syntax. So select 1 plus 99. I'm giving it an alias of vsum. When you use an alias, you may or may not use the keyword as. The as is being used for readability, so that at one look, with one glance, you will know that this vsum is not a real actual table column, but just an alias. So you're telling SQL to process this mathematical operation, 1 plus 99. And when it displays the result, it will display it with a column heading of vsum. Okay, plus, so we know that 1 plus 99 is 100, so we can see the result of that query is 100. Okay, now let's replace one of the addends with null. Okay, so let's just say the 1 here, I'll replace with null, and let's see what happens. So now we're saying select null, which is nothing, plus 99. And you will see now the result is null, which is not the one you wanted to see, actually, right? So it's not unexpected for somebody who knows SQL syntax. But for somebody who's using SQL for the very first time or not so familiar yet, then you will get these surprises. So it's good to know that how to avoid this, especially in mathematical operations. Okay, so let's see. Let's write null in a different form. So null can be written as the word null, or it can be written as this, a pair of single quotes with nothing inside. Okay, so select, this is called null, select null plus 99 as vsum from dual. Now let's execute that. And then you will see that also the result becomes null, which is not what you wanted to see. Okay, so this is where the use of the NVL function comes in. Let's look at some table data. It's like cost ID, policy number, currency, loan balance, payment due date from loan details. The loan details here is the table name. Okay, so we're selecting, trying to query the values of these columns. So there are 4 rows retrieved from the table, and we notice if we look at the column called loan balance, we notice that some of the values are showing as null. Null here, right? So it becomes a potential cause of error, not error, but incorrect value if you do some mathematical operation. Okay, let's just say, okay, so I will revise the SQL a little bit. I'll just paste it here in the interest of time. So the only change I did is this: I added to loan balance, which is the one with null values for some. So I added this expression plus 1,000, and then I also added an alias. I'll call it new balance once I displace it here. Okay, in fact, I can do better by selecting or querying both. That means SQL will display loan balance, which is the one you're seeing it, and beside it, it will display pseudo-column called new balance, which is derived from loan balance plus 1,000. Okay, let's just execute this now. As we know already, the loan balance has null for 2 records. You'll also notice now that with the pseudo column, we've created new balance, which is just a derivation from or derived from loan balance plus 1,000. Those records where in the loan balance is already null, they also result to null here in the new balance. Why? Because null cannot be used in a mathematical operation, especially in SQL. You cannot add something to null, subtract something from null, multiply with null, divide by null. You cannot get the remainder of null, and so on. Okay, so it becomes a problem. You see, we're trying to get the new loan balance, but it doesn't display properly for all those records, simply because some of the records have a loan balance on them. So to handle that, we will use the NVL function, which we have seen earlier. At least we've seen the syntax of it, okay? Now let us use this. So I will just add, what I'll do is the cause of the problem is the loan balance here. So I'm gonna touch the loan balance column, the first one, because I wanted to give you a perspective, okay? I will touch the one in the pseudo column called new balance, this part over here. So this as is just an alias, like I told you. So I will add an NVL here in front of loan balance and then a comma. Remember, NVL has 2 parameters. The first one is the column you're evaluating, column value or column name. It can be a variable name, it can be a parameter name. In this case, it's a column name. So in the second parameter is the value I want to assign to it in case it's null, in case it's blank. Okay, so I'm saying if loan balance is 0, I mean, if loan balance is null, then use 0 instead. Okay, so that will solve the problem here in the new balance column, which is doing some computation. Okay, now if the problem is solved because of the usage of the NVL function on the loan balance column, in this usage in this pseudo column over here, now you don't see any null values in the new balance. Why? Because even though this is null, it was set to 0 on the fly by the NVL function. So it becomes 0 plus 1,000. So 1,000. As for here, the null was set to 0 on the fly and then plus 1,000, also 1,000. Okay, so that's the NVL function. Now take note that you can use this NVL function on all the other mathematical operations, like I mentioned, subtraction, multiplication, division, exponentiation, modulus for, let's say, finding or getting the remainder. So it is a very handy tool. We'll be talking about another NVL function in some other video. But right now, I want you to focus on the concept in SQL that you cannot use null in a mathematical operation because it may not give you an error, but it will surely give you or potentially give you an incorrect value, an incorrect mathematical result. Okay, so thank you for watching. You've learned something new from this video, and I hope you did, and something that could get you interested into SQL. This playlist is pretty new. It only has 3 videos right now. Okay, thank you for watching, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and spreading the word to your friends. I will be seeing you in the next video.